Hello, welcome back to my channel. We're doing this little vlog style tonight because I'm going to show you why. I was looking through my palette drawer. I was looking for something and I kind of got to thinking that I have so many palettes to the point where I have to actually stop myself from buying more, and it's a problem because I love palettes so much. Next to concealer, it's my favorite makeup product. So I figured that maybe I'll do a palette collection video, not a declutter, just a collection video. A few weeks ago on Royally Pink, I posted my makeup collection organization situation, and it's my Alex drawers and then like a bunch of Lucite drawers and whatever. But I kind of want to go in detail about all my palettes, and then maybe like we'll make this a regular thing where I take you through my lipsticks and my foundations and everything. I probably have the most palettes aside from lipsticks, so I figured this is a good place to start. And I love makeup organization videos. I don't know how I sit through like people who have literally like a room full of makeup and I have like a single drawer and I still have a lot. So this hopefully won't be too long, but I'm just like looking at the drawer, so let's get started. I was going to try to do this with my tripod, but I don't think that's going to work, so we're doing it one-handed. So this is what my palette drawer looks like. I have two organizers, but then obviously you can see I have a bunch of palettes sitting on the side because I just don't have the room. So let's start with these. This is, oh, nice glare. This is a Z palette that I have. I think it's a Makeup Geek Z palette. I really don't use this at all. This is a Ciate Olivia Palermo blush and bronzer duo. These are some Anastasia single eyeshadows, some Makeup Geek single eyeshadows. I don't even know what that is. This I think is, I don't know what that is either. And this is my Anastasia Beverly Hills Self-Made palette that I decluttered because it was like falling apart. And yeah, I never use anything that's inside this. This is my Morphe and Kathleen Lights eyeshadow palette. This like didn't get any love like on YouTube at all. When it came out, it was like almost like we didn't even know that it was coming out. I do use it quite a bit. I don't think I've ever even used these two colors, but you could see like that's obviously a really loved color by me. That I do like it, and I did buy it because I was curious about Morphe eyeshadows, and I also just love Kathleen Lights, so that's that one. This is a Laura Geller Island Escapes palette. I think I actually just brought this home from work. If you didn't know, I do work for Laura Geller, and this palette is, we don't have it anymore, but I think it's just like a cool palette to have in your collection because there's so many bright colors like this yellow and this green, and it was so unique from anything that we ever did. I kind of just was like admiring it at work and decided to bring it back home, and the packaging is so pretty. Like, look at that. Look at that. These are two more. I have a lot of like random Laura Geller palettes. These are two brand new Laura Geller palettes, the Montauk Escape and Southampton Classic. I don't think I've even used these. So each palette has the same bronzer. So you see, same bronzer. And then they have four eyeshadows, which are a little different. This one has the blue, this one has the like magenta, like purple shade, and then they both have different blushes. So this one's obviously more pinky and that one's more bronzy, but they're really, really pretty, like really good travel palettes. So, and the formula is really great on these. So I've swatched them. I just haven't used them on my eyes yet, but they're really good. These are not, this isn't a palette, these are just Bite Lush lip wipes that I've had in my collection for a while. Let's go back here. Another Laura Geller palette. This was from, I think this was like a lab sample. This was from a collection called London in Bloom, And it's like the most beautiful eyeshadows because like look at the design. They're like roses, but it's just like, look at that. That green is so nice. I'm just like wiping it on my rug. It's gonna yell at me. But just like super nice neutrals, and then like a pop of smoky bold colors, and once again the packaging is just really nice. You can't buy this on its own, but I think you can get like the whole kit on laurageller.com right now. It might not be the same exact eyeshadow, but it'll be pretty close. Then my Tarte Kiss and Blush Cream Cheek and Lip Palette. Now, I bought this when it came out like 2 years ago, and then I used it a bunch, and then I returned it because I felt like I wasn't using it, and I missed it. I wasn't using it, so I returned it, and then I missed it, and last summer I bought it again. It's just, I don't think I would ever even use that shade, but it's just like these cream blushes are really nice, and you could use it on your lips and your cheeks. I really do get, obviously that one got a lot of use, but I use this a lot during the summer. This is the palette that kind of inspired this video because I was looking for it. This is the Laura Geller Cheek to Chic palette. Oh my god, this thing is so pretty. Look at the packaging. I love the like step-by-step. But these are all baked. They're some of like our favorite like best sellers. We have Hawaiian Glow Bronzer, Bronze and Brighten and Medium, Baked Color True Blush in Bali and Catalina, and then 2 baked highlighters in Honey Lavender and Toasted Coconut. These are so good. You can only get this palette on QVC, but I highly recommend it. I think the packaging itself is so pretty. It's nice and slim. It's like a good travel palette for summer. Oh, it's so nice. I'm obsessed with this palette. Obsessed. Okay, so we have some more palettes here. Oh, okay. This is my NARS palette from a Nordstrom anniversary sale 2 years ago. So I think this Orgasm, Deep Throat, Don't Know, Laguna, Don't Know. Let's flip it over and see. So it's Luster, Desire, Albatross, and Laguna. So I did have Orgasm in a full size, but I like actually went through the whole thing and then it broke. So I don't think I've ever used this shade. I think I used it for Halloween this year, but I do get a lot of use out of these 3. I've probably used Albatross and Laguna a handful of times, but I think like, what is a makeup collection without a NARS blush palette? Then I have this little MAC palette. I don't think I really have ever tried MAC shadows, but Nordstrom had this a while ago, and it's like a mini neutral palette. It has 9 shades that like are super tiny, and I think it was like under $40. A lot of people said that this wasn't the same formula as like regular MAC shadows, but I like it. It's like really nice to throw on. I like used this the other day when I was getting ready for work. It's the Amber x9 palette. It's just like a nice little neutral palette to have. I feel like this is something that you can almost like even throw in like your bag for a night out if you really wanted to like touch up your shadow during the night. I don't know, but it's my baby. The Anastasia Soft Glam palette. I don't have the Modern Renaissance palette. I just have been putting off buying it, but then when I saw this and like I knew I had to have this instead, because while they do have like some of the pink shades, there are a lot more neutrals, and I'm just like, I'm obsessed with this palette. It is so good, and the packaging, I love it. The velvet. Anastasia has the best shadows, and if you haven't tried this palette, I highly recommend it. Controversy. I love a good controversy. This is the Becca Jaclyn Hill palette. I bought this and the face palette, which you'll see in a minute, the minute that they came out. And my palette is actually like, it was fine. I have never tried Becca eyeshadow palettes before this, so I didn't really know the difference, but I thought that it was fine, and there was no way in hell that I was returning it when it was totally fine. Like they were fine. It was, like, no big deal. So I kept it, and I still do use it. I don't know if I've ever really, like, I've used all of them, but these two are, like, my favorites. But I love this palette. I will never get rid of it. This is a Christmas in New York Too Faced palette, the Merry Macaroons that I got last, not Christmas 2016. And I love it. I mean, my mom gets a lot of use out of it, especially this honey lavender color. I don't think I've ever used these two shades, but everything else is, like, really nice. They're very, like, neutral, taupey shades, which I can appreciate in a palette. And this is the kind of palette that I don't care if it gets dirty. But, like, look at how pretty that is. Another Anastasia palette. Another palette that I bought the minute it came out. When the Soft Glam palette was released a few months ago, I ordered it from the Anastasia website. And the only other time, I never order from brands' websites. The only other time I did that was when the Master Matte palette by Mario came out. And this palette gets like so much love. Like, the Kim shade is Life, Fifth Avenue. Like, this palette is just everything that you could want in a palette. It screams fall to me. It is so beautiful. Like, that Claudia shade and Bronx. I don't think I've ever even used Bronx. You could, like, see that it was, like, never even touched. But it's just, like, this palette gives me life. It's probably my favorite palette in this entire collection. So, I don't know. I don't think they're ever going to bring it back. But if you could ever find this on, like, Poshmark or something, I recommend picking it up. Like, it's that good. Peanut butter palette time. I love peanut butter. Peanut butter is, like, my favorite food in the world, next to pizza. So, obviously, I jumped at the chance to get the peanut butter and jelly palette when it was available. I haven't used this in a while, and I'm kind of sad about it because I really do love this palette. I probably just don't really use the jelly shade, but everything else, like, peanut butter is the shit. And then everything else is just so pretty. And then I know a lot of people didn't like the peanut butter and honey palette, but I was, like, still gonna buy it even though I don't use this honey bun shade. Everything else I think is, I got, like, a whiff of that peanut butter scent. It's so good. But yeah, I just love these palettes. They're cute little, the 9-pan palettes from Too Faced are some of the best on the market. I'm really pissed that they changed the packaging for the Natural Mattes and Natural Eyes palette because I like the tins. But yeah, I think you can still get these on sale on Too Faced's website. I recommend picking one up. Naked Heat. I used to have the Naked 3 palette, but I've never had any other Naked palette, so when I saw this one, I had to jump at it. A lot of the shades look the same, like these right here, but this shade, Ashes and In Fuego, are, like, so good, and Ember. I love them so much, but, I mean, it's a Naked palette. You know exactly what you're getting from a Naked palette. The formula is spectacular. They blend out beautifully. These shimmer shades go on beautifully, wet or dry. It's just, you cannot go wrong with a Naked palette. This was, like, my first foray into eyeshadow palettes, really, and this once again is something that doesn't get a lot of love from me. But it's the Chocolate Bar palette. It is just, it's Life. Salted Caramel and Marzipan are probably two of my, like, top 5 favorite shadows ever. I get a lot of use out of hot chocolate, semi-sweet, gilded ganache. All these shades are stunning. If you're gonna buy one palette in this collection, I think it should be the Chocolate Bar palette if you've never tried it. But it's a classic and a cult classic for a reason. It's everything that you could ever want from a makeup product. The Peach palette, another controversial thing. I remember waiting up all night for this palette. I remember I ordered it. It was like 6 a.m. I was getting ready for work. It was a nightmare to get. I went into work the next day. Everybody was like, oh my God, you got it. And I used it like mad for a few weeks and then really just don't touch it a lot. My mom uses this a lot because she likes these pinky shades. But I mean, I think you can get this, like, I don't think it's I'm pretty sure it's like available now, so I suggest like swatching it. But the shade Luscious is really beautiful. Cobbler, I love the mattes, Georgia Puree and Summer Yum. This is like, if you want a summer palette and something like Naked Heat is just a little dark for you, I think that you can get a lot of use out of this palette. There's a lot of different colors. You have the pinks, you have the greens, you have the purples, and then like that bluish shade, but then you also have your neutrals. So I think this is a very versatile palette. You just kind of almost have to like think about it, but it's a good palette. All of Too Faced shadows I really like, whatever I have basically. Let's take this out. Okay, Becca Jaclyn Hill. Ugh. This beauty. I use this a lot. I actually get like a lot of use out of this. Champagne Pop. I don't know where my regular Champagne Pop went. I feel like I either lost it or my sister stole it from me. We have this shade Amaretto and I think Pamplemousse. This palette you can get on Ulta.com right now. It's Laura Geller. It was our holiday. It was limited edition, exclusive to Ulta for the holiday season. It's still available. But you have 3 limited edition shades of our Baked Gelato Swirl Illuminators: French Fizz, Pixie Pearl, and Molten Copper. This one looks oddly similar to Gilded Honey, but it's not the same. This one is almost like I like to describe this as like a vanilla, like a French vanilla highlight. We do have, Laura Geller has a baked highlighter shade called French Vanilla, but this just like screams, like, I don't know, because it's not white, but it's like a cream, but it's not champagne. And then Pixie Pearl is, I don't even know how to describe Pixie Pearl. It's like an iridescent shade, but a little more pinky than Diamond Dust is. But like, oh, look at that. It's just, I love these highlights. I get a lot of use out of them. And yeah, they're really good. Oh, I'll put it back. Tartelette Toasted. Did I really need this when I have Naked Heat? No, I didn't. But I wanted a Tartelette palette, and I just like I was like, I just want both because I could justify the fact that they're different. But like, are they really different? They're really not. These don't have as many neutrals. Or maybe it's just the way they're laid out. I don't know. But the formula on this is spectacular. These really do live up to the hype. I am curious to get like the other Tartelette palettes that I really don't use, but I got sent in PR. It's the Pure, both by Pure Cosmetics, the Trolls palette and the My Little Pony. I used, like, they look very similar. They're very colorful. This one is obviously a little more wearable because you have some green, some brown, some purples. This one has all the really bright colors, even though I did get a lot of use out of this during Halloween. I just, like, I don't want to, like, give them away or anything because they were PR, and I don't know, I just, like, they were PR, so it's, like, is it weirdly sentimental? Because I don't get sent a lot of PR, but when PR sends it to me, like, I feel really special, so I don't like to get rid of this stuff. And I just think it's nice to have a few, like, bright, colorful palettes in your collection. And the formula on these are actually really, really good. They blend easily. They're not, like, crazy pigmented, but it's not like there's nothing there. They're just, like, a good standard shadow. The Narcissist Most Wanted palette, another rosy palette. I got this for Christmas. I had the Loaded palette, which I recently sold because I really didn't use it at all, and I didn't want this and the Loaded palette, and I much preferred this. I liked the packaging better. It was slimmer, and I just liked the shades. Palettes ever, Laura Geller, Iconic New York. Oh my god, this palette is truly life. Once again with the pinks. No, but this palette I get a lot of use out of. How stunning is this? How stunning. This shade is called Electric Rose, and it is truly one of like the best eyeshadows ever. And then like these pink mattes, like this shade is gorgeous, and then you have your browns. It's a great palette. I use this so much, and the formula is like to die for. I can't even explain how good the formula is. Then we have the Downtown Cool palette, and this is like so outside my comfort zone. I don't get a lot of use out of this, but I want to, because like obviously you have these gorgeous cool shades, this stunning navy and that purple, and then like these gilded shades, and then some great neutrals like this color and this color. I don't gravitate towards cool tone shadows, but I feel like this is the perfect mixture of warm and cool. So if you're somebody like me and really want to step outside your comfort zone, and this is the kind of palette you would typically go for, try this. It's really good. But they're like two of my favorite palettes. Then I have to complete my Becca Jaclyn Hill collection, I have what was this called? Champagne Glow the Champagne Glow palette, and it has Pearl, Champagne Pop, and Blushed Copper. I lost this for a little while, and then I like found it and I put it back in my collection. I don't really use it a lot, but it's like one of those things, it's a collector's item, and I always have a backup of Champagne Pop, and Pearl's a really beautiful icy shade similar to Icicle. And then also you have a backup of Blushed Copper. So it's a simple face palette, and I keep it more for sentimental reasons than anything. And then my last eyeshadow palette is the Kylie Burgundy palette, once again with the red shades that I don't really wear. I wanted a Kylie palette so badly last year. I didn't know which one to get, so I figured to go with the like most fall-y palette because I love a good fall makeup look. But I like these. I'm not like picky about my eyeshadow formulas, but these are good. Like, I haven't used this quite a bit, if I'm being completely honest. I don't really know how I would use this like middle red shade, but it's Kylie. Kylie could literally sell me anything. I'm not picky, and like the packaging is sick. But yeah, the Burgundy palette, it's good. It's fine. So that is my palette drawer. I have a lot of palettes. I'll have a lot of palettes, a lot of eye palettes. I have a handful of face palettes. It's just a lot of palettes. Oh, then I have this one. This isn't available anymore, but it's another Laura Geller palette. This is our baked shadow formula. So you don't get like the sickest pigment, but these shades, like when I saw this palette come out, I was obsessed with it. I like posted it so much on social media. This rosewood shade and all these gray shades I just think are so unique. Especially like that shade Heather. It's like you don't see a lot of gray in shadow palettes, so I thought it was like super unique. So I really do love this palette, and I have to put it at the front of my collection so I remember to use it. In here I have some more palettes. This is my other drawer. I guess these do classify as palettes. So these are my Laura Geller face palettes. So I have Just Blushing, which has a trio of like the best blushes. That Golden Apricot has been discontinued, but it is truly the best blush shade you'll ever come across. And then Tropic Hues is another favorite. This is another Blush and Brighten palette. This has Peach Berry, which is like not always sold, Pink Buttercream, and again Tropic Hues. Tropic Hues is like one of my favorite shades. And then this palette, I'm obsessed with it. It's like my go-to travel palette. You have two eyeshadows, the French Vanilla highlighter, and then Honeysuckle blush, which is super, super bronzy. But it is just stunning. It's my favorite blush. Then I have, a mini Kylie palette. Again, red. Why? I don't know. It was from her Valentine's Day collection like 2 years ago. It's the Smooch palette. Then I have, similar to the Uptown and Downtown palettes, we have the mini palette. So this is the Uptown version. And it's just like literally a mini palette from that, from the big palette. So you have like the matte pink, the electric rose, and then the brownstone shade. So it's just like a cute little palette to keep in your purse or something. I love it. And then the Downtown palette has a gold, like another like bronzy taupey gold, and then a regular like white cream highlight shade. Another Laura Geller blush palette. This was our holiday one. This is still available. And this has pink grapefruit, Bora Bora, Maui, and honeysuckle. So just like a nice little variety of pink and neutral shades. Oh my god, I'm like out of breath. This is my Hourglass blush palette that I got 2 years ago in the Nordstrom anniversary sale, or yeah, Nordstrom anniversary sale, and just has like the marble blush. I use this kind of when I'm like in a rush and don't want to put on a highlight as well. I don't really use the pink shade a lot, but I do get a lot of use out of this. And this I just recently wore the other day, and it's so pigmented. I like had to like brush some of it off. And then I got this for Christmas a few years ago after like so much back and forth, and it's the Ambient Lighting palette. This is life. I use it to set my face, to set my under eyes, and then to just use as a highlight. It's like that perfect multi-purpose palette. And then finally, this little baby from Laura Geller. Once again, obviously I have a lot of Laura Geller products because I work there, so I take a lot of stuff home. This is the Celestial Bliss palette. This just came out in January. It's limited edition, but it's still available. And it's like a beautiful plum, like galactic inspired palette. Drops of Jupiter is insane when packed on the lid. I don't even use a brush with that. I just take my finger and just pat it on. Moonlight is supposed to be like a transformer shade, so you could put it on top of anything and it becomes like iridescent. And then Stardust and Galactic Glitz are just like two classic shades that like are good to have in your collection. So, oh, wait a second. I have 2 more palettes. I told you I have a lot. I couldn't fit them in my drawer, my palette drawer. So this is my Glow Kit by Anastasia. This is the Sweets collection. Once again, another item that I bought directly from her website, and I get so much use out of these. The Sassy Grape shade is what like hooked me on lavender inspired, like a lavender beauty products, and then obviously like Butterscotch Taffy, Marshmallow. They're just such great shades. I don't think she has this kit anymore, but I know she has something similar. But her highlights are life, and this packaging is just beautiful. Then I have my Laura Geller Passport to Pretty. This once again is like baked. I don't really use this a lot. It's more like the collector's feeling of it because I love the layout of the palette. I love the packaging. I love the idea of it, that it's like your passport to pretty. That Malibu shade is like a fan favorite. I don't really use it because it's super bright, obviously. And then French Vanilla and Golden Rose are 2 beautiful highlights. And then I really like I love the layout of these. Like Rose Miss and Candy are 2 gorgeous champagne-y rose shadows. And it's just like, it's a really nice little palette to have. Palette collection. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And please let me know if you would like to see any of the other items in my makeup collection. And I will gladly do it for you. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!